guys, Effie here. Today I'm going to make this project using our Daisy Close-Up Cling background stamp. There are two versions of our Daisy Close-Up stamps. The one that I'm using today is the full view one. So I'm going to start off by peeling off that protective paper off the cling portion of my stamp, and then I'm going to position the stamp in my MISTI and apply that stamp to the door of the MISTI. Then I'm going to stamp this gorgeous large image onto some watercolor paper using our Valentine Red dye ink. I will be doing some watercoloring today. For the watercolor paper, I'm using Canson XL 140 pound paper. This is the paper that has the blue cover on the pad. And then for my paints, I'm using Ken Oliver Color Burst. I'll be using the Alizarin Crimson color. Then for my brushes, I'll be using Pentel Aqua brushes. I'm using the fine tip brush to apply the color. Usually when I watercolor floral images, I will emboss them and then watercolor the image. But today I actually did not emboss them. So there are no raised embossed lines to help me, I guess, trap the color in a controlled way. So as I watercolor, what I do is I put down kind of a base layer and then I blend that color out to, I guess, finish putting in that first layer of color in that particular petal or that area of the floral. And then I'll move on to another section of the floral and I'll do the same thing. But when you're watercoloring an image that is not embossed, you kind of want to paint in sections that are not adjacent to each other. Otherwise, your colors will run into each other and it'll look kind of muddy and everything will be blended together and you won't have as much definition. So when you're watercoloring an image that's not embossed, you want to kind of work in different sections. In addition to working in different sections, I kind of work in several layers. So as you can see, I put down a base layer of color and then I move on to another section and I do the same thing. But after the initial or original sections have dried, I will go back and kind of rework that area and add more intense color, and this is just going to give me more depth to those petals. For my color burst today, I'll be using Alizarin Crimson for the petals and Sap Green and Terre Vert for the leaves. So I'm just going to turn on some music and I will be back once I finish painting. painting my panel, I set it aside to dry completely. Then I took the largest die from our double-stitched rectangles large die collection to add some stitching to the edges of my panel. At the same time, I die cut this hello sentiment right into the panel. The sentiment is from our Bold General Wordplate Greetings die. It is a really versatile wordplate die collection to have in your stash because it comes with all different kind of all occasion sentiments that you can die cut right into your paper crafts. So in addition to die cutting the hello from our painted panel, I also die cut the same sentiment from black cardstock, and you're going to see what I'm going to use it for in just a second. Next, I took one of our double-sided adhesive sheets. This is very strong adhesive, and I cut it into strips. And I like to use this adhesive when I'm working with watercolor paper because it's heavier weight, and when I use it to mount my watercolor papers onto any type of card base, it kind of helps with the warping. So after I adhered the panel onto a A2 size side folding card base, I just started popping up the black letters right onto the negative areas. Then I took each corresponding painted die cut letters and I glued them over the black cardstock letters. But as I adhered each letter down, I kind of offset the letters just a tiny bit so that you see that black shadow from behind, giving it a little bit of interest. So lastly, I adhered some of our clear rhinestones onto my panel, and they kind of look like clear dewdrops. They add a really nice embellished touch to the project. My card is now complete. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's project and video.